Breaking news on Capitol Hill, where we've been watching the explosive hearing pitting Attorney General Merrick Garland against some of his harshest Republican critics on the Senate Judiciary Committee. This is the first time Garland has testified there in over a year, and Republicans aren't wasting the opportunity, hammering him repeatedly on their claims that the department is biased. Take a look at this exchange between the Attorney General and Senator Ted Cruz over the handling of protests that followed the leak of the Dobbs decision on abortion.
When rioters descended on the homes of 6 Supreme Court justices, night after night after night, you did nothing. Did you bring even a single case to enforce this law, or did the Department of Justice decide this law doesn't apply if it's harassing justices for an opinion we don't like?
When the Dobbs draft was leaked, I did something no Attorney General in the history of the department had ever done before. For the first time in history, I ordered United States Marshals 24/7 to defend every residence of every justice.
Has the Department of Justice brought even a single case under this statute? It's a yes, no question. It's not a give a speech on the other things you did.
The job of the United States Marshals is to defend the lives.
So the answer is no.
It's to defend the lives of the justices, and that's their number one priority. They have.
Why are you unwilling to say no? The answer is no. You know it's no. I know it's no. Everyone in this hearing room knows it's no. You're not willing to answer a question. Have you brought a case under this statute? Yes or no?
As far as I know, we haven't, and what we have done is defended the lives of the justices with over 70 U.S. Marshals.
Ryan Nobles is NBC's Capitol Hill correspondent. Devlin Barrett is a Washington Post reporter. Ryan, so clearly Republicans had a lot to get off their chests. What did you make of that back and forth? And frankly, was that sort of the tone, the tenor of what we saw throughout the morning?
Yeah, it really was, Chris, and it wasn't just on that topic of the protection of Supreme Court justices after the Dobbs decision. You also saw certain members of the Senate Judiciary Committee on the Republican side really press Merrick Garland about the DOJ investigating instances around school boards. That's something the House Judiciary Committee is also concerned about. Also, Senator Marsha Blackburn of Tennessee asking some pretty tough questions about whether or not the DOJ was really looking into the bombings of crisis pregnancy centers. So, you know, as you point out, it's been quite a while since Garland has been in front of this panel. And there were a lot of things that both Republicans and, frankly, Democrats had to ask him about, and certainly a lot of topics of substance as well, what the department was doing as it relates to fentanyl coming across the border, and whether or not that is being something that is made a priority by the Department of Justice. So, you know, Garland is someone who does not really engage in theatrics. Some might argue that he could even be potentially boring in a setting like this, but there were certainly a number of instances where these Republican members in particular were trying to make a point about the way they believe the Department of Justice should handle certain situations like this. And Garland made his best effort to not necessarily agree with those premises, I should say, but find a way to explain what the department was up to.